is being here. And always something can come up, things come up, but being here because the Institute is so much about the experience. It's not about the things that one can do online or those kind of things. So hopefully this will help. And I think I'm going to have you go ahead and get back into your groups of 3 because we didn't have a lot of time, 3 and 4 that you had before. And Pam has graciously given us some questions to sort of guide our discussion. And so we will use these as well. And there's some things that as I reread this or re-skimmed it actually, a couple of things I wanted to point out. They talk about fellows, teacher fellows. We chose quite a while ago to not use that term. And we talked to our mentor, Gigi and I talked to our mentor when we were setting this up, and we said, you know, that fellows thing has always been kind of a problem for me. And I know it's a fellowship and all that kind of stuff, but the word fellow is still a male term. And so when you're in the group in the Summer Institute, then the term is participants. That's the way we use the word. And then after you graduate, you get a little certificate, and you become a teacher leader. And our goal is that hopefully you will share this in some way or another, at least in your teaching positions, wherever you're teaching, that this will impact your teaching. But also any way that you can to share some of the ideas, some of the insights about being a writer and being a teacher of writers and all of that fitting together and in your own settings, however it works for you. I know that one of our first summer teacher leaders was moved right from her, where she had been, I believe she had been teaching 4th grade. Sherry was teaching 4th grade, wasn't she? I think. I think. But anyway, she moved right into a library position. So what she actually did then was every other faculty meeting or something like that, she got kind of the nuts and bolts of the TDDs that we had and shared some of the ideas from the TDDs with the faculty. So that's just one way. But so we do hope that it goes on and your teacher leader hat. One other quick thing in terms of the content, and it doesn't really fit this so much, but it fits our teacher model of our model of the writing project, and that is that we do have the possibility of taking 5 hours, and that's a weird number of hours. It's a weird number of hours for a purpose, because all our courses are 3 hours. So, if you're working on a program, that 6th hour, we hope that if you're in a teaching situation, especially if you can use these hours in your program, you will do an independent study in the fall. And that independent study then is, how do you take this into your own setting? What do you do with it? So that will come toward the end of the Institute, but when you see this 5-hour thing, you think, well, that's weird. It isn't quite as weird as you thought, because this was, in Gigi's and my mind when we were putting it together, is that this is a way, because we knew that the $1,000 stipend that is, from the grant that we get, that's the maximum we can provide on from the grant. We knew that wasn't going to cover 6 hours, but it covers more than 3 hours, and so this was kind of the way we put it together. So if you have questions or concerns privately about that, talk to me about that. But for now, let's meet in our groups, and I will hand
When Pam and I visited on the phone, and she told me more about what it really was, I was like, oh, now I understand. I totally want to do it and be a part of it, At first, it seemed I wasn't for certain, what you'd be doing. It was hard to get a feel for what that is. And I'm sure it's hard to describe in a paragraph.
It is.
But maybe we could add some things.
We have talked about this a lot.
Have
We
you?
really have. We really have. All of us, how do how do you explain it? And when we get to the end, you're going to help us explain it. Yeah,
That'd be
seriously. Yeah, that would be awesome if we could get it.
I think this did a good job, but it's pretty lengthy.
Yeah, it is lengthy.
And you wouldn't probably plow through reading this much to find out about what it is.
Right.
There's people in this building that could have done that exact
Teacher that retired that I took.
Why? She, because there were like 3 of us that just finished our administrative masters in the last 6 months. 3 or 4 of us. And she wrote out like what she liked to do and all the structures. And one of them, she wanted the picture paper.
Because this is the thing that that kind of gripes me is that, because I know they pay,
She like
they hire somebody and they give them a
$1,000
number
number
to shop to school,
sick.
or they can ask one of their teachers to do it for free. I know. Why not? We should be getting paid.
You know, Oxbow is trying to start doing in-services, so maybe we could get paid.
Sometimes I let them be creative. That is one story about this picture. One thing that I've really enjoyed since I described it is that just being part of the institute here opened up a lot of opportunities for me. Things that I've been able to do that I would not have been able to do otherwise. Now, like for instance, Melita was working in the summer doing the teaching at the Kronk Center. And did you go with us to Florida?
No, I was the year after. I went with Gigi to Chicago.
Oh, to Chicago. Okay. And I went to Boston. I went to Write a Journal conference in Boston, which was really amazing. And I did a last year. I played Nintendo. I like eggs. I got to see Morel. What was his name? Ernest Morel. She's got his video on that was really good. And then also we went to the National Writing Teacher Conference that was in Orlando.
I teach high school. 2 of my favorite places.
They're special kids. It was really nice. That was back when National Writing Teachers had a lot of money and got to go on expense paid trips. But so that was those opportunities were really nice. But also just doing this is just at being a co-director is a 2-year position, so it rotates all the time. So there's and then maybe opportunities for paid. We got enough talent a couple months ago. But it's and that's what I had a regular in it before, and I was like, oh, this is kind of boring. But now I have my tablet, and I'm like, I'll read anything. Do other things.